Hello. In today's video, we are going to be setting up a VR project in Unreal Engine. It's going to be very simple, just in today's video, a basic getting started. And it will explore megalophobia a little bit, which is the fear of very large objects. But don't worry, it's not scary, it's very mild. The game I'm going to be working on will be exploring megalophobia. So it may get more intimidating as the videos go on, but I'm a big wimp, so I don't think it'll ever be that scary. No monsters, nothing like that. And yes, I do have a filter on my face because I didn't put any makeup on, and it's safer for you this way. Anyway, you won't see my face again. Let's get to the computer and get started. Unreal Engine is totally free to use, and you don't owe them any money unless you make over $1 million in profit on your game, and then it's like 5%. I am in the Epic Games launcher in the Library tab. In engine versions, you can see I'm using 5.4.4. And then in this drop down, you can select options and make sure you tick the boxes for starter content and templates and feature packs, because we are going to use both of those. I'm ticking the Android box. You do not have to. I just want to try something. By default, this project will build to Windows, which is really what we're doing here. In the past, I did try to build Android directly to the MetaQuest goggles, and I could not get it to work. So I might try that again. And by the way, I'm using MetaQuest Pro goggles, but if you have really any goggles, this should be fine. All right, so sometimes it takes a while to install all of that. I already have done so, so I'm just going to launch it. So when you launch, that brings you here, and you can see now we have these different templates. I'm going to choose, for the sake of simplicity, the virtual reality template. That will allow us to start with pretty much the setup we need. That's going to use blueprints. You don't have many options here. And make sure you include the starter content. That's really the only option you have. And you can name your project as well. Mine is going to be called VR Phobia Test, because, yeah, that's the theme of this game. It's going to test at least megalophobia. Oh, and by the way, make sure your MetaQuest link is running. Now we're in the Unreal project, and you can see this is the demo scene, the VR demo scene from the starter assets, I believe. And first we're going to go over navigation. I'm assuming you have a mouse and a keyboard. So if you hold down the right mouse button, you can spin around and tilt to look in different directions. Scroll moves you forward and backward like that. Hopefully you're not getting nauseous. If you hold down the right mouse button, you can press W, A, S, and D to move around, and also E to go up and Q to go down. Now, I may have inverted some of that in the settings. I'm not sure. If you don't like the speed of the motion, you can change the camera speed up here. Speed it up or slow it down. I like to slow it down a bit. A shortcut is to hold down the right mouse button and use the scroll wheel to change the speed while you're pressing the keyboard keys. And now if I hit play, it's not going to be in VR. It's just going to display on the screen. That's because here we've selected to play in the viewport, which we don't want. We want to do VR preview. And you can see there's little goggles and the icon too. And I don't have the goggles on right now, but now it's going to work in VR. Now it looks like the content browser was just floating around. I don't know if it always starts like that. So I'm just going to dock it down at the bottom. This, you're going to use this a lot, this window. And you can also drag to expand it a bit when you need to. So yeah, now if I hit play, it shows in the goggles, in VR, everything is working fine. And there's some fun little toys to play with here. It uses teleport for motion, which I prefer. Because of motion sickness you can get if you're just gliding around in there. And look at the hands, look really great. You can even move some of the fingers. And that all comes with this demo scene. I believe you're allowed to use this in your game if you want to. Even if you wanted to sell a game, you could use all these assets, I think. Warning. At this point, this next segment is going to show some megalophobia images and videos. Megalophobia is a fear of very large objects. So if you have that fear, skip ahead to the next section. And nothing here is too bad. There aren't jump scares or scary monsters. You can see this is just a very large cruise ship. Not too bad. I think in person that would be scary. And my idea, there's a giant statue. Here's a giant rocket ship. I think Elon Musk posted this on X. One day there will be giant rocket ships. So the idea of this VR game is to have very large objects. And in VR, it will seem scarier because you'll feel like you're really there and this thing is looming. And the thing is, it's fake in VR, so, you know, I should be able to get used to it. Maybe each level will have, okay, this monster is a bit scary. This might be the scariest thing. I also don't like those bumps or whatever, circles on it. That's another phobia. When I was a kid, I thought of this scenario, a planet descending. I thought that would be so terrifying. That might actually be too scary for VR. I don't know if I could make a level like that. This is a monster, but I think he looks dorky, so I don't have a problem. In VR, though, you really feel the size of these things, and that's what I want to overcome with this project, is to be able to handle it. All right, now here I was just generating some mid-journey images of a giant chipmunk looming over a city, just to see what that might look like, because I don't want to put like scary monsters in my VR game. Back to the project. I'm gonna expand the content browser. You can change the size of the icons here if these are too big. Just click on settings and thumbnail size. You can adjust that to your liking. I've been using Unity lately, so coming back to Unreal, it's difficult to remember how all these things are done. All right, so here you can see these different folders. You can go into starter content. Let's do something really simple and just click into shapes. All right, and we'll just place a shape. That should be fairly simple. First, let's just take a look. I'm not sure if I showed you what this looks like. We're just in a skybox here. And the room just has some walls floating around in the middle of the skybox. And that's our environment for now. And we can place a shape here. How about a sphere? All right, here's a beautiful sphere. And you can see it shows up here in the outliner. All the objects in your scene are listed here. And it'll highlight the object in the scene when you click on the list, and vice versa. If you click on the object, it will highlight it in the list over there. We don't need to worry about this too much in today's video. I'll just show you the basics. You can drag your shape around, or you could rotate it. Of course, this is a sphere, so we can't see the rotation. Let's try a cube. Okay, you can rotate that. And you could also do some scaling to make it larger or smaller. And those are the basics for your shapes. You can also change the color, obviously, and the texture. We'll get to that later. Oh, and you can do Control-Z to undo things. All right, let's scale this sphere really big. Since this is going to be a megalophobia game, let's test my megalophobia right off the bat with something that's not too enormous, but is of unusual size, as they say. Let's put it back a little further. I don't want it to be too close to me at first. All right, where is our character starting anyway? Let's look around. Oh, that's already kind of scary, I think. I don't know what degree my megalophobia is, but I do like tiny things. I like dollhouses and stuff. Maybe that was a clue that I really don't like large things. All right, no jokes, people. Okay. All right, here we go. This is the player here. It's called Player Start. And it has a capsule collider, it looks like. We'll get to that later. I think this light blue arrow indicates the forward direction, the direction you'll be facing when you start the game. Actually, maybe I'll start with the sphere up in the air a little bit. I can't remember in Unreal if it's going to automatically have gravity and fall. I don't think so. I think in Unreal we have to do some things to make that happen. All right, here we are in VR. Can I look at the giant sphere? Ugh, in VR things really do seem a lot bigger than they do on the screen. You'll have to trust me on that or try it yourself. I'm sure on the screen it doesn't look very scary, but it is a bit unsettling in VR. I gotta say, I'd rather stay away from it. What if I need to hit it with the bomb to save the world? Can I do it? No. I threw it like a girl. That was terrible. The world is doomed. Oh dear. At this point, I'm just going to go through a few project settings. Since we used the VR template, everything should be set up pretty well, but there might be a few changes to make. In a future video, I'm going to go through my notes that I had taken previously about all the settings that you need. Here, I'm just going to go from memory, so you can ignore this part if you want to. I won't show any incorrect information. Maps and modes here you will be using. You can set what level to start on. Here, I actually don't need some of these platforms. I'm not developing for Apple or Linux or any of that, and I probably don't need Android, but like I said, I might try to build directly to the goggles. Here I actually do want to make this desktop and scalable, I think. Again, I'll go through my notes later. This is just what I'm recalling from memory. Yeah, I'll just apply that later. I don't want to restart right now. Yeah, so maps and modes, platforms, what else? Oh yeah, rendering, you might be in here. This top section is for mobile actually, so I don't know why I was looking at that. I always make that mistake. So ignore all that. I think that's only if you're building directly to mobile. But forward shading, we do want to make sure that's on. That is going to help a lot with processing, I think, for VR. And there are some VR settings. Again, I have a lot of notes on this that I'll refer to later. I just have to find them because I take notes sometimes in a notepad and sometimes in Notepad on the computer. Sometimes in Discord, I'll just write notes. So who knows where I put these notes? I think it's in an actual spiral notebook because I'm a dork. I was born in the 70s. What can I say? Sometimes I write on paper still. Back to the description section. Here you could give it a thumbnail. You can name your project. I'll call mine VR phobia test, I guess. If I can remember how to type. I don't know what's wrong with me there. Oh, and make sure start in VR is checked. If that's not working, you know, if it's not starting in VR, definitely check that setting. I'm gonna try to put a picture. My chipmunk, Megalophobia chipmunk. Uh-oh. Image is too big for a thumbnail. Just gonna hop over to GIMP 2. That's a free image editor that I use a lot. And I will just scale that down to, what did it say? 192 or something. Okay. I guess the giant chipmunk is going to be scaled way down. He's going to be mini chipmunk now. And I don't even know what this thumbnail is going to be for. Is that going to be the... I don't even think that's for the game icon. It might just be for my project thumbnail. But if you can have a chipmunk thumbnail anywhere, why not, right? And again, I will go over all the settings in a later video. This is just preliminary fun and easy things that we can do. All right, yay, it liked that picture now. Remember to save your project often. Every time you accomplish something, save it. And you don't have to follow along here. I'm just going to build the lighting and try to package the project as a standalone executable, which is what you'll have to do in the end if you want to sell your game. So you might want to try that early on. Don't follow along now, though. I'll do videos about all this. I'm just trying to remember how to do basic things in Unreal right now. It's kind of a refresher. And in this video, you can just get an idea of what the project is that I'm working on. Oh, looks like the chipmunk is right here as my project thumbnail in the Epic Games launcher. That's nice. You can see at the bottom, I added the output log window so I can see as it's compiling to package the project. Here you just go to this platforms drop down, go to Windows, and then you're going to select the folder. If you don't know where your project folder is, you can go to the Epic Games launcher in the library and just, I think, right click on the thumbnail and click Show Folder. And that will open up your Explorer and take you into your project folder. So I'm just going to select that project folder here to build the final package to. I don't know what I was doing there. Clicked on the wrong thing. So now this is done. I already had built it, I think. Oh no, did I? Yes, I already built it there. It took a while, so I didn't record it. It will make a Windows folder, which will contain everything, including the executable. And you can see it went through a lot of stuff in the output log. If you get an error, it will show you there. It will be red, which I did get the first time because I did not restart my project. Remember, I had changed a setting and said to apply it later, so it wouldn't build until I restarted the project. But anyhow, I was able to successfully build it, and you can see there it is, the executable. And now I don't need Unreal Engine open. I can just double click that file and it will play the VR game in my goggles. Okay, I'm just showing you what it's like in the MetaQuest goggles. If you don't have any goggles and you're just watching this, this is kind of the home base in MetaQuest. I had to do I don't know what it's called, a streaming capture or something. Oh, a casting to get this video. It's kind of not that smooth when you do casting from the goggles. This is just what it's like inside the MetaQuest goggles. This is how you connect to do developing. You have to go over here to this other place. Oh, and never mind that. You would just open your monitor in there and you can actually run the game from inside the goggles. Pretty cool. Anyway, here I am in the game again, just checking out some Megalophobia spheres. Trying to be a little braver, get a little closer. Very uncomfortable. You get used to it though. That's what I'm hoping. It's definitely not as scary as it was even a few minutes earlier in the game. Pew pew, go away. And look, without even changing any settings, just the default ones, the shadows are pretty nice, pretty good. Reflections look good. Unreal can make a very good looking game, I gotta say. Unity is a bit more cartoonish, I feel. That may change soon though. I asked ChatGPT to provide the minimum specs that you would need for your PC's hardware in order to run Unreal Engine and VR. You need a bit of a robust system to handle that, and also recommended specs are provided. You can look through that. In future videos, which will be more focused hopefully, we will learn how to create a level from scratch with trees and hills and grass, and we'll make animated characters that can speak and that have an AI intelligence. We will also add music and gameplay and all kinds of fun stuff, import assets. So I will see you in future videos. Bye.